Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Empowering Voices. And today we have a special guest with us, Ekua Cant, and we are in both in the UK, but she has an amazing background. She's been all over the world. And today she's here to tell us about her story, what she does, what she did to get where she is. And we start our conversation, as you know, from one of my t-shirts. By coincidence, I'm wearing what resonates the most with our guest, and it's Unapologetically Me. So for those of you who are watching, you can see it on myself. The others can listen, and don't forget, you can find them on my website. So welcome. We are so ready to listen to everything you have to tell us.
Oh, well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for that lovely and warm introduction. Yes, no, I agree. I have had a bit of an international background and work as well. So my name is Ekua Cant, and I am a career coach and wellbeing specialist, but I also love helping women with their career. So that title is I am the head cheerleader for career magic, because I love making magic with people's careers. But what you said to start with about being unapologetically me is something that really resonates with me. And I take a spin on that in putting it in a way that it's really about people focusing on cheering for themselves and becoming their own cheerleader and being unapologetic in being their best self and their true self.
Mm-hmm. Not always easy, right? So
Yes.
we definitely need our coach to be our first cheerleader and then to become ourselves our own cheerleader. So you were born in the UK. Then tell us, you lived abroad. Where did you live?
Yes, but the first thing I'd like to say is I always say, even if we are not strong cheerleaders of ourselves, we still must be our first cheerleader, and then our coach or our friends or our peers or the rest of the crowd, because ultimately we have to be strong in our focus. And even if it's weak, we still know that it comes from us. That's the first thing to say. The second thing is, yes, I was raised internationally. So I was born in Leeds in the UK, that's up north, for those of you who are familiar with the UK geography. But then my dad was posted out to Germany. So we lived in Germany for a little bit. Also, the United States of America. So we lived in Washington, D.C., which was fantastic. And also in other parts of the UK. So Portsmouth and the Southeast. Also a place called Fleet, which is sort of near Surrey, for those of you who are familiar with UK geography.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. So you have quite a lot of international experience. And tell us a bit, okay, today you are a coach, a career coach, and you do you work specifically with women, or do you work with men as well?
Well, that is a fascinating question. So I am a career coach, and I do primarily work with women when I do the one-to-one work. So it's really about helping them with, unlocking their mindset, and really understanding what their career values are, and helping them to along their journey to define what career success is for them, because it's a very personal thing that I find career success, whether it's work-life balance, whether it's money, whether it's living in certain places, that is personal. We need to take that journey together. But on the other side of the work that I do, I work with organizations and companies, and that is all employees. For that work, I look at, employee well-being, so helping them to thrive in the workplace. So whether that's helping them to prevent burnout, sickness, and to really understand how to be healthy and thriving, and to help companies think about how they can do that. So one of the simple things I like to tell companies is, when we have all these Zoom meetings or whatever platform that you use, let's not have them back to back. Let's have 10 minutes or 5 minutes between those meetings, because otherwise we can't really be effective, because we just rushing to the next meeting and we don't have time to think and to be able to stop and get the energy to be creative and productive in that next meeting. We're just basically running like a hamster, trying to be effective.
It can be extremely tiring, actually, emotionally and physically, but also emotionally. I mean, you feel the toll. You haven't stopped to talk of something that you have to jump in something else. I think the brain needs a bit of a rest in between.
I would definitely agree with that. And that's something that I really am hot on telling people and companies, especially because we're now in this hybrid working situation where people are working from home and in the office, and we're using technology, which is brilliant to help us to communicate with people in our location or around the world. We still need to be mindful that well-being helps us to thrive and be more effective in the workplace. And when we aren't able to be fully well, what happens is we are sick, and then we take time off, and then we can't be productive.
Yeah, and it becomes a cycle, a negative one, where your productivity goes down. So it's all the interest of the employer to implement these measures for the well-being of the employees. But how did you get where you are today to be a coach? Was it your dream when you were a young child, or something that came later in life?
Yes, well, it's been a journey to get to being a coach. And I actually started off in a full-time career. So I was a civil servant and I worked for the UK government. And so in the first instance, I did a political science degree and I was interested in politics. And then I was a personal assistant when I first joined the civil service, so organization and looking after helping senior people to be productive and effective in the workplace. And then, I realized I had a talent for organization, but also IT skills and sort of helping people with being productive using IT in the workplace. So that led me to train to be a project manager. And then after that, I left that PA work to do project management work, doing different IT projects and also managing IT services. But then I had a hankering for entrepreneurship. I really was really excited by seeing people create their own businesses and go to meetups and events where people are talking about making businesses and starting out. And whilst I really, wanted to do that, I wasn't in the first instance having full-time employment to working for myself or being self-employed, because that wasn't something that originally, when I started my career, was something that I thought I was going to do. It was something I liked the sound of, but I wasn't quite sure how I would do that in actual reality. Yeah. So it's taken me sort of a journey to kind of, I guess, go through a process where I've done, side hustles or side projects while I'm working in full-time employment, to then becoming a contractor doing project management work, and then deciding actually to do full-time self-employment. So before I was coaching, I was doing a really fantastic startup with my husband. It was a technology-based startup. So the company was about providing drinks to offices and using technology to do that. So if you imagine like Uber Eats or Deliveroo, but just for drinks, that was the kind of company that we created together. Yes, so it was really fantastic. And it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but actually I saw it
too early for the market. So the company was called DrinkSpot.
Yeah, because I saw an image on your website of the robots. Amazing.
That's right, exactly.
Amazing. Yes. It seems of a movie like of in 100 years, it was in the future, definitely.
Yes. So it's funny though, because we had this idea that we wanted to provide people with drinks in their office for the socialization or for celebration, and that we wanted to provide it to them on demand. Only to see about a few years later with the global health pandemic that everyone was at home and needing to have things served to them from their home. So we were slightly too early in our conception of this idea, but it was a good idea. It had customers, but the problem that I had with the company that I ran was that I had too many ideas at once. So the on-demand drink service was one part. The second part was the drinks events. So if you wanted to have an event at your office, we would provide you with drinks, waiters, and everything. So you just come to us and we sort everything out for you. And then finally, the robot, as you said, I wanted to hire out this robot so that if you were like Amazon or Google or any big company, you could, engage with us on that level. But there was just too many things, as you can imagine. And being a business is tough enough as it is.
Yeah, actually, you had several businesses.
It didn't really work.
Yeah, you had several businesses in one.
Yes. So,
yeah, it was too much.
Yes, so it was too much. It's too much. So basically, my own health and well-being suffered. I basically burnt out and crashed, and I couldn't run the company anymore, so I had to stop running that company. But then it gave me the opportunity to really think about what do I want to do next with my career, and to think about, what got me here and why was I doing what I was doing, and was there anything else that I wanted to be doing. And I realized that as much as I love technology and I love helping people to bring technology products to market, that wasn't really what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do coaching and mentoring because as a project manager, that was the kind of work that I was doing. But the problem that I had was, when you become a coach, it's not you are the product. So it's your face, it's you, and it's not something else that you're pointing to. So with everything else that I'd done before, there was like a product to say, oh, look, this is my website.
You were behind
this is
it.
my this. Yeah, exactly. This is my whatever the thing it was that I was selling. But when it comes to being a coach, it is this face.
Yeah.
And at the time, all those years ago, I wasn't really confident or sure that I wanted to be such a personality, or like be the product, be the face of my own business. And I had severe doubts about, was I good enough to be coaching and to advising other people when my business had failed, and I hadn't made £1 million, whatever. Yeah. So I was like, am I really the person to be advising people and coaching them? But I realized that actually, yes, it's not about perfect journey. Actually, it's about what we learn on that journey, and it's about the questions that we ask ourselves, and it's about how we then spring forward, after that, and what we do next. And I realized that my talent is really for, thinking about helping you with your mindset, and also working on myself as an individual to implement the mindset techniques that I think are powerful and help you to be optimistic and positive and move forward with your life and your career.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the fact that you have tried the corporate world and the startup, it's definitely at your advantage. Independently how it went and why you chose not to go on with one or the other, but you can say, I've been there, I've done that I can definitely tell you and guide you, because I know several phases of changing career or becoming more confident, whatever it is. And becoming confident, because you talk about the imposter syndrome, for example, on your website, I saw, and that's it. It's such a big rock. It doesn't seem so, but even very successful people are sometimes squashed by the weight of imposter syndrome. Do you have a specific way to approach it, or how did you do it for yourself?
Yes, no, I agree with what you say, that a lot of people from all spectrums of, where they are in their career, and even those who seemingly made it or successful, can suffer from imposter syndrome. And I think for me, what was really important is, you have to have a number of different tools in your toolkit to help you with this, and it takes daily practice. It's not just one day I decide I'm going to tackle this and then it goes away. No, it's a continual habit and practice. And what I like to say is, what you do daily is how you're able to learn and to grow and to get those mindset shifts that you need. So specifically for me, what helps me with dealing with imposter syndrome is, I love to use affirmations. I am, I can, I am, I will be, and really to repeat them daily. Whether I say them, whether I write them, that is a practice that I do every day. And then also, having a sense of gratitude. So I have a gratitude journal, and I'm writing that every day as well. But, with confidence, it's a state of being. And again, it's imposter syndrome. It's really about, asking yourself powerful questions about, the questions that you have in your mind about, am I the right person to give you this advice? Am I, good enough to do X, Y, Z, or whatever those questions that you have in your mind. It's about recognizing and acknowledging that, we are imperfect, and that is fine. But it's not giving in to those voices, and being really conscious and aware when you hear them. You need to take a moment to pause, and not to be hijacked from them. Whether it's a breathing technique, whether it's mindfulness, whatever process that you do, to have a moment and then to sit with yourself and to reframe them, and to know and to actually fact check yourself, because it's really easy to think what we think is actually true. But what I find a lot of the time is that it's not true. It's just what we believe. And one of the things I love to say is, facts are friends. So I always ask myself, when I'm feeling negative, or I have things that sound believable to me in my mind, I ask myself, how do I know that's true? And then I go through that process of like, oh, actually, do I just think that? Do I get this from someone else? Why am I thinking that this is true? And then I come to a process where I understand whether it's either true or it's false. And then I'm able to move on from there.
Yeah. And also,
Ooh,
I think also we tend not to celebrate enough our achievements. You just stopped. So in reality, imposter syndrome is what I do sometimes is to see the problem as a person, because if we picture it in our head, it's a bit easier, because you are fighting with someone else at your same level. Because otherwise, whatever we picture in our head, it's so big, so sure, and so real, as you said, that it becomes difficult to see what's true, from what is not, basically. And it becomes, I suppose, a habit. Once you do all the process you were talking about, it becomes a habit. So quickly we can get out of it and start our life again, right?
Yes, no, I agree. But I think that what is we need to be mindful of and aware of is that it's sometimes really sneaky, because the brain is very sneaky in helping us to believe what are called rational lies, because they sound so convincing.
Yeah,
so
they seem so real. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it seems so real. It seems so real. So we always have to just question and ask ourselves, like I said, is this based in fact? Where does this come from? Just sense check, before we just happily accept that. Because the problem that we have commonly is that we believe many things and we don't often actually question those things. So in order for us to change and to get growth, we actually sometimes have to sit down and question those things.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we will just be doing the same things over and over again, because the brain likes to conserve energy. It doesn't like us to do things unnecessarily that seem hard, or that seem to be us wanting to create a new habit or a new way of being. But we need to do that work so that we can obviously get the growth and transformation that we're seeking.
Yeah, exactly. But do you think it depends a lot when imposter syndrome wins? Does it depends on the fact that we are not very used to celebrate enough our achievements? Because we directly jump to the negative, right? In the positive, it's almost forgotten.
Yes, no, I agree. I think that can be part of the problem, is that we are, I guess, programmed in a way to be, more cautious, more fearful, and we're not programmed to be more accelerating success. But that's a habit that we need to start, and to understand that actually is helpful for us in order to tackle imposter syndrome. It's not the only thing, but it does help us, because once we are able to tune in to the things that are that we when we are winning, the things that we have done to kind of move forward, to make progress, that really does help us. But the problem is actually being mindful and acknowledging those things, because what we have is also a problem of what should I celebrate? It's a funny thing. Some people ask me, is a win a win, or does it have to be a big win? Does it have to be a small win? And I'm like, a win is a win. There's no size. A win is a win.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is that people even think that they have to size their success when they don't have to do that.
Yeah, but because we have so big expectations, and from ourselves most than from anyone else, so we say the day I get I don't know, on the stage of the Grammy Awards, that will be a win. No, because before you get there, you need to have so many, and it's right to celebrate them, because they make you the unique person you are, and allow you to get wherever you want. And at the beginning, you used the word magic, that I love, definitely, because I strongly believe in magic. We can use it other words, like, I don't know, synchronicity, or fate, or destiny, whatever. Tell me how you create magic for your customers.
That is a great question. Yeah, so I think how I create magic for my customers is really celebrating them and, playing back to them what I see in them which they don't see, and helping them to see past, some of the rational lies that they believe, and challenging them and asking them, with love, you said that this is, how you think or how you feel, but, when I have been with you and when I have, heard about what you've achieved, that doesn't resonate to me. I see magic. I see someone who's doing great things, but not acknowledging those things because, as you said, they're waiting for the Grammy Award or whatever their equivalent is, the pay rise, moving to another country.
Whatever is the expectation we set for us. Yeah. But also, you wrote a book. So would you like to tell us about the book that, by the way, can be purchased through your website and I suppose on Amazon as well?
Yes, that's right. Yes. So I wrote a book called Be Your Number One Cheerleader because I'm really passionate about helping everyone to believe in themselves and to understand that they need to be their number one cheerleader. And it has come from them. And as much as we can have support and supporters, the only person who benefits most from our success is you and I. So essentially, you need to do that. But what I also say is, you don't have to do that alone. So I believe that coaches can help you, and mentors and counseling and therapy, whatever you need to help you on the journey. Absolutely 100% there, and I believe in that. But what I want to say is you have to start from you, as in the commitment from you, for that desire to change or to transform, and to understand that the transformation takes time and repeated effort, and that even as you're going along this journey, you will fail. That's okay, though, but it's that willingness to get back up and to try again. So the book really talks about, building a growth mindset and being optimistic and positive, thinking about how do I start every day and the habits that I have in order to help me to be positive and solutions focused. And it finally talks about mental health and well-being, because one of the things that I found, as I was describing, is when my company failed, I was depressed, I had burnout, and I was just not myself. And it was a very difficult time. But I've talked about this in the book because I think that is something that a lot of people need to understand is real. Because some communities don't recognize some of these types of well-being issues and problems, and so I felt that it was important for me to share this story, to tell everyone that this happened to me, it is real, and if you have these problems, there's no shame in it. You just need to actually just stop, get support, and make sure that you get yourself back to health.
In fact, I'm very happy you are talking about it, because I'm always very happy to tell my audience that storytelling is what creates magic, because your experience can help definitely someone else to say, okay, I'm not alone. So it's not happening to me because I'm a failure, because it's the first thing we think of, but it's happening because it's life. It can happen, and the only thing I have to do is to ask for help and search for the right support. And in a way, well, now after you are out of the burnout and the difficult situation, it was a blessing in disguise, because from that you had the push to start then your real call, the business you have today, and you have the even more tools to help others, because you went also through that.
Yes, no, I agree. And what I would also add is, like, everybody's story is valuable and is helpful. And I think that there is a sense of everyone brushing for success and not really acknowledging that there is a path and a journey. And a lot of that journey is unfortunately pain and struggle, but which we overcome. But what we tend to see is the shortcut version.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie version of there were some difficulties, but then 5 minutes later, they were getting the Grammy, they were getting the pay rise, they're moving to the Caribbean, wherever it was. But that isn't the actual reality. It takes time and effort, and it takes 5, 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime. In fact, it's a continual practice with mindset and habits. And we need to acknowledge that and realize that, what you're seeing as people's success, it was built on a journey. Exactly. And it wasn't just, what you see today.
Yeah, they didn't wake up one morning and they had it all. I mean, that doesn't exist. I mean, we tend to compare ourselves with someone who started the 20 years before us. So, I mean, we are a failure necessarily in this way, although failing is always a positive because it's the only way for us to learn. So there isn't any other way, because from example, from indirect experience, it's not the same as to bump in the wall yourself. Definitely. So, and tell, apart from...
I agree. And failure is something that I'm just going to say, a failure is something that is something I feel very passionate about, because a lot of people have a difficulty, accepting it as a part of the journey to success. They just think it is something that's negative and we should never do. But it really is something that we need to go through in order for us to build momentum, to learn, and to actually understand that something went right along the way. So one of the things that is most powerful for your mindset is to do the work to reframe what failure means to you and to make it something that's empowering for you.
Definitely, I totally agree. And so apart from being a coach, you wrote a book. Anything else you want to tell us?
Yes, so I work with organizations and corporates. So recently I was in Portugal being a facilitator for a conference. So that was really helping them to, learn from the speakers that they had heard the previous day, and to be able to reflect and discuss and to be able to actually take action. So I was there to help them to take action and to commit to actually going away and not just being passive, and committing to doing something that was going to help their business to grow and to thrive. So I think what I would like to leave everyone with is that, yes, I am definitely a coach, but I also facilitate and speak, as well as create e-learning products and videos that help people along their journey with mindset, well-being, and creating that career success on their own terms.
I believe that we need to have the right mindset as a person, and then from there to as an entrepreneur, as an employee, until all the fields we cover in our life, definitely. And I always like to ask my guests if there is a word or a quote that resonates a lot with you, that it's a bit the support of your business and your private life as well.
Yeah, so I like to say, be bold, be brave, be marvelous, back yourself, and be your #1 cheerleader.
That's amazing. That's very positive, motivational, and we should all definitely follow it to be successful, but to feel fulfilled, first of all.
I agree.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. I just want to remind everyone that the details of our guests are below in the post, in my bio, on my website, to YouTube, and all the platforms for podcasts that out there. We are on 12, I think now. So no excuse not to find us. So reach out, whatever you need, whenever you need it, we are here. Thanks a lot for being with us again, and see you soon.
Thank you.